FaZe clan actually stomping all over Gen.G for a minute there.
Yeah, it looked really good from FaZe from the get-go. I think we started with a 9-1 lead from the very beginning. Gen.G, they did manage to pull it back to 13-8, so it wasn't too horrendous of a scoreline. But overall, FaZe, the same story we told yesterday, Gus. The fact that FaZe, they love the confidence that we're seeing now from them, especially against those first two teams. It carried over to Beast Coast, and it clearly still rings true here against the likes of Gen.G. So really happy to see that from the side of FaZe. But now we're on a new territory for them. They're insta-banned. The last three best threes that they've played, they've been the higher seed. They've had the opportunity of choosing this first map and banning it. They always get rid of Ascent, but Gen.G being that higher seed, they've banned Bind, and now this is new territory, I think, for FaZe.
No, absolutely, and I think this one's probably going to go towards Gen.G. Not going to say anything too early, right? But even then, this map has gone disastrously for FaZe in the past couple of weeks. And it's not exactly, it wouldn't exactly be a surprise to me if Gen.G were able to take this one. Either in just close fashion or just any fashion in general. Ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into it finally. We do have mostly an 8-sake coming in from Gen.G. No, exactly a full 8-sake from main. And in it comes.
ZachaREEE, he's stuck underneath hell, but he sent one down below. huynh hopping into the site, taking down in Marved, picking it up where he last left off. Haven was his domain, and it seems the A site is his as well. FaZe, a quick pistol round. They've had so much success in pistol rounds before. I think they're 6 for 6, and now they've just made it 8 for 8. FaZe kick it off with a 1-0 lead.
And again, a stellar round. What was Gen.G and I did get to watch a little bit of the last game. I think FaZe to me has really come alive in the past 2 days in terms of just pure defensive prowess. And we haven't really seen them on Ascent. We haven't really been able to kind of gauge their success on this map, what exactly their dynamic is on this map. But it's almost surprising to me that FaZe actually did have the right moves towards site, rotating teammates in and out of sight. And, well, I guess at this point, they still have players that can frag, right? BABYBAY on the front lines, combining with both a Spectre and a Frenzy at 3K form. Corey with the 2K. Easy peasy round for FaZe. But, of course, Gen.G, they will be able to have their bite back in the next round. It's an actually entertaining round.
Oh, but FaZe, I mean, it's the same dynamic that I think we've seen from them in every other best of 3 that they've played, right? The pistol round to follow, it's a bonus round. BABYBAY. This time, the only difference was that he did buy that Spectre, and maybe it's to show precaution, to show care against a team like Gen.G, especially when you're on their home turf, and a very unfamiliar turf to the likes of FaZe. Well, this isn't necessarily their worst map. It was one of the maps that did get them eliminated in NSG to Equinox in a best 3 in the round of 32. The first map they played was Ascent, picked by Equinox. It did go 10-13, so FaZe definitely didn't look too shabby on this map, but it, again, isn't going to be one of their best. It's their insta-ban, and this is kind of why. They get aggressive, they get over-aggressive, and Gen.G read them like a book. huynh sits in the back and waits for that, picks them both off, and player 1 even finds Corey. It's looking good here for Gen.G to take their first round.
No, it's looking real good, and I think at this point, FaZe, they did have a little bit of an actual setup towards the round in terms of just off angles, but none of them really succeeded. Just good stuff from Gen.G, checking their corners, winning out the 1v1s, and well, now this round is about to be done and dusted unless ZachaREEE pulls off something insane with a Bulldog. Has a couple of players that are a little bit low on HP. If I'm not mistaken, player 1 coming in from main is one of them. Spike finally being planted. Again, no actual pushback from ZachaREEE. Instead, it's actually going to be even more damage taken away from Zach. Rawkus only has a Spectre to save up to, so most likely looking to upgrade at this point. And yeah, just a good round from Gen.G. Nothing too insane, nothing too much to analyze in terms of an actual take either, because we just simply haven't seen it. FaZe have become more and more aggressive towards choke points silly though. That's something that we've definitely kind of highlighted in the past 2 days.
Well, ZachaREEE getting a little bit dicey. Lear goes out, no chance to win this round. Another stat to note is that FaZe in every single loss of Ascent, at least in the last, I think, 3 maps that they've lost on Ascent, all of them have been 10-13. I thought for Zach... Okay, Zach, I thought for a second he was going for a ninja, and then he's like, oh crap, I don't have any time. I'm just gonna die now. But as I was saying,
he was looking for an exit at that point.
You think so?
Just running through sight and going
one
through mid.
HP?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Going back to that stat is that the last 3 losses that FaZe have been 10-13, and maybe that's gonna be a pattern we see here where they struggle to close it out. Right? They get so close, they're only 3 rounds away from taking it, but they can't close it out. It seems like that might be a recurring theme on Ascent, especially in that last round we saw FaZe struggle to hold on to it despite having that 2-0 lead, and the momentum slips here. I think in Gen.G, looking at the buy for FaZe, this could be a big turning point in this first half.
Surely so, but look at this early aggression from FaZe and A main. This could get dicey. There's 2 players trying to make their way in, and it's a good combo of util and manpower. The 2-man swing, and not only that, but just choking out that one Gen.G player in the back of main. Well, ends up working out in their favor, but now at this point, Gen.G, they've already readjusted, and if anything, they've already been in these positions before. 3 players over towards mid. Rawkus will be able to tag on at least one with that owl drone. So a little bit more info for them. Corey, no way.
No, surely not with this thing, right?
No, surely not. When you would assume
Oh,
he would win that.
He does.
He wins those. Corey takes this round at least. Now it's a 5-on-3. Player 1 does have a good position. It's going to be a B split now, Sully.
Oh, with Gen.G, you're weakening men. Yeah, is it really a B split at this point? I'm not thinking so. ZachaREEE picks up a quick double. Knocks down MkaeL off his feet, and BABYBAY comes in from the defender's side. FaZe looked good in that one. Good crossfires being held. Nice opening picks, and like you mentioned, that aggressiveness towards A main. We haven't seen too much of Ascent from FaZe, but it clearly seems that the style, that confidence, that aggressiveness still rings true on every single map, and Ascent is no different. Finding some footing back into it after losing this 3rd round. They pick up the 4th and send Gen.G in a turbulent state financially, right? It's a weird buy here. Phantom here for GMD, Bulldog for MkaeL, a share for player 1. Currently, Gen.G, they don't look too happy right now given the economy state, and it looks like huynh, if he can get onto this Blade Storm, they might have a chance to take this A site.
Focus up again. FaZe. 2 players in the back of the site. They do have the util set up ready room to go off the Killjoy, but it's slowly being taken away by that owl drone. That's smart. In comes huynh looking for some damage. ZachaREEE, he was playing up on B last round, but he has adjusted, and he's insane. Massive frag onto huynh, and he already does so much damage onto the players coming up from main. Marved and ZachaREEE, it's just going to be an easy farm for them. It's really just Jimmy Marved. Huge 3K farm on the round. FaZe, they confirm out a 4th. And, I mean, again, I want to hope, Sully. I really do. That one was just Gen.G holding W. But can FaZe really pull this off?
We're in the early days, right? This is still a very defensive side of the map, so give credit to Gen.G for trying to push the issue. FaZe, they didn't move at all. They didn't even get aggressive down B. They stuck on their sights. They trusted their gut. They knew the economic situation of Gen.G, and they predicted a fast W key style. So FaZe, they look good. The confidence is definitely flowing through them. These last 4 best-of-3s, or the other 3 best-of-3s that they played, a total of 7 maps, they've been confident. They've been the ones taking those early fights. They've been the ones looking to take a fight to their opponents, and it's no different here. Gen.G, it's the issue that was on Haven. You give FaZe so much room to work, you give them so much space to build off of, and Gen.G, it's like it's a rope. You get caught in it, you get stuck in it, and FaZe, they continue to build around it as they look to take round number 5 with Gen.G sitting back waiting.
That's important for now, but again, I think to the very least extent, Ascent is a map that more or less encourages the 1v1 battles, or at least encourages just hard takes. And again, FaZe really just waiting out time is going to be their best option. They don't need to push any of the extremities. They don't need to push any choke points towards site by any means.
But Marved is doing it.
But Marved is doing it.
Exactly.
Right? Marved is getting so much information from this. Not a singular person is going to be going over towards A main. Really, all he needs is maybe to get a couple of headshots from mid. No one even spotted him.
They don't even know. They have no idea.
They have no clue. Marv just blew his first chance, but it doesn't matter. He might be able to reinvest into that situation in just a little bit, but who knows? Rawkus now trying to hold down this side alongside his buddy Corey. Corey gets 2. Marved. Again, same thing with BABYBAY, but BABYBAY goes down. Oh no, Marved, you gotta swing. Marved, you gotta swing. He's gonna get revealed, but it doesn't matter. There you go, 2-on-2. huynh does have sight, but there you go. Killjoy ulti is up, the lockdown, but it just doesn't matter. It gets destroyed. 2-on-2, Sully.
And huynh, he's on low HP, but it doesn't matter. He's holding on to an operator, and if we know anything, huynh is clinical on the scoped rifle. huynh, what can you get from this one? Nearly has a lineup. Marv, though, shuts him down before you even get started. MkaeL stuck in the boathouse, stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he's been squashed by Marv here. 5-1. Marv, a great flank and a great setup for the site, taking that 2v2, and FaZe still looks sharp, holding on to a massive lead over Gen.G.
A massive dub, and again, Gen.G, their economy is going to look scrappy. It's at around the 3K mark, and really they just have to go for a half buy down to about 2K. I say this, right, but I think Gen.G at this point, I think they already have almost full, even if they could take advantage of it, a little bit of a bonus from the rounds that they've lost thus far. And even then, even if they just pour on bodies, the more players that go down, the more bonus that most of your players are going to get in this game. So FaZe at this point, really just looking for a farm. Gen.G not looking to invest all too much. Again, you do have one player that ended up getting the hero rifle. If I'm not mistaken, that's player 1 on it. But Gen.G, they might actually be approaching B super quickly here, but watch out. Rawkus is around. BABYBAY at least watching the cross. Rawkus is just waiting for players to actually make their way on site, but no one's watching stairs. huynh takes down Rawkus, but now BABYBAY, he could farm a little bit. Still has the op out. One player trying to land in front of him, and it's just not going to work out as Marved is covering his 6. Player 1, last person remaining now in a 1v4, and FaZe wins out yet another round. Gen.G, I think most of their players are going to have a buy into that next round, but like I mentioned before, player 1, he put himself in a pretty bad spot. Round 3K, he might just have to stick around with a downgraded rifle or a Spectre, but a Guardian and light armor.
That's definitely not the... I feel like maybe it works out, right? You've got the one-tap potential. It's literally a precision gun. You basically get shot, you're dead. You have no chance of surviving after that first missed shot. So player 1, I think the light armor does sort of balance out the fact that you have that one-shot potential, but he has to be clean. He's got to be crisp. Maybe you want that spray ability with maybe the likes of a Spectre, but in this case scenario, when you're playing so slow and so methodical, and that's kind of been what Gen.G have been doing, what Kieran mentioned in that first map, is ever since the swap with Shawn, it feels like the style is slowed down, but not at all for Marved here. Once more, he gets aggressive, he takes the fight, he wants this map control, and he's been given it. BABYBAY has room to work with as well, alongside Rawkus, who's not too far off. They're locking down this A main, or this B side of the map, apologies, and Corey as well, just around the corner. FaZe, they're a boa constrictor. They're tied around the likes of Gen.G, and they are choking them in every single point of the map.
They sure are at the moment, and just wait for Corey, man. Just wait.
They don't even know. They have no idea he's there.
They have zero clue, but that would have to lead to Gen.G actually making their way mid. Just waiting for the approach. I see a ping. It's like they are waiting for someone that might be an off angle over towards mid. Well, of course, not in that position, but even then, they sort of suspect that someone is lurking over towards mid.
Oh, Corey.
Corey. He has the spot, though.
He has the intel
all
as
the
well.
information in the world, and 30 seconds left. They might not be able to rotate if Corey can delay enough time, but player 1 immediately gets the frag. There's one person on that front line, has the Odin too. This could get a little bit rough. Rawkus has to pop up, but it's not going to happen. One person remaining for FaZe is ZachaREEE, stuck in heaven, stuck in markets. And I think this one's done for.
Oh, we don't know about that one. ZachaREEE, he's so good in situations like this, but he's got to find the first. There's nobody watching his angle. He jumps in. He can get a second. ZachaREEE, that would have been a tremendous play and nearly gets a double from it. ZachaREEE keeps us on the edge of our seats, Gus. Yeah, it was kind of a miracle play, but ZachaREEE, Jesus. Got a little bit dicey for Gen.G. No one was watching him. MkaeL thankfully steps out at the perfect moment, but FaZe could have had a 7th there. Gen.G nail number 2. And maybe a nice change of pace. Marved, his aggressiveness kind of is starting to slow down just a little bit, and maybe Gen.G can build upon that and shut him down before it even gets started.
I mean, that would be massive. I mean, I think both of these teams are in a little bit of a rough position in terms of economy. It's very fragile in a sense. But yeah, no, absolutely. If FaZe can end up taking back this round against Gen.G, that would be a lot more deadly if Gen.G ends up winning out this round. FaZe, they do have a little bit of a platform to actually buy going into what would be the 6-3 round, something of the sort. But well, just waiting for an actual approach. It's mostly players over towards mid, and the funny thing is, no one from FaZe is actually looking out towards this spot. No one is actually watching mid. They don't even want to approach it. They just want to take that B interaction. ZachaREEE is just chilling on site. BABYBAY, however, pushing the situation. My God, BABYBAY, yet another one for him. Still one in the back of sight. They spot the Killjoy ult, or not the ulti, but the util, and there you go. ZachaREEE cleans up the last 2 frags, and FaZe, they shut it down like you mentioned, Sol.
Jeez, such a clean hold as well. Unfortunate that I think it was Rawkus that got caught out so early on by the recon ball. He did his best to avoid it, but it's a nice bait and switch, a really good delay as well. I mean, that attention drawn, you got to focus so many players to ensure that you get that frag. You have to kill Rawkus there. And him drawing those players away gives ZachaREEE time, throws down that turret, time to adjust, time to build, and FaZe make those rotations. Gen.G walking into a death trap, it seems, on that B site. The A site as well has not been easy to them. Neither of these 2 sites have been pretty for them. FaZe overall have not been easy on them. And ever since Marved has stepped into this calling role, I like this aggressive style. Marved really giving himself a lot of freedom to make plays, to give his team information and build around his style. It's working so well here for the likes of FaZe and Corey. What can he get from this? Flash to go out there. We already know there are 3 from this breach, but he only tosses out 1 and backs away with 1 left in the pocket. Nothing more to come from it yet, but as Marv picks up the first, he's continuing to aggress. He wants more, as same with GMD, and they only have pistols to play with your Gus, but they're trying to make it work, Gen.G, and they can't find much except for the single frag so far.
Potentially get a spike plant down. They have 1 player at least trying to force out the situation on B. Of course, it would have been optimal to actually put the spike up on GMD himself, but again, more information the better. And speaking of information, the neural threats, it is out. The neural network is revealed. Now Gen.G, they're struggling to actually make their way on site, but in comes huynh, and MkaeL actually getting some frags. My lord, FaZe! Are they about to get ecoed? There's 1 more person in heaven. He might get exposed. Player 1 takes down Corey. Now it's just down to Rawkus. 1v2. He would have to wait 15 seconds for that recon bolt. So again, it's no info for now. Just has to make his way in. Player 1 has the off angle. Oh, but the shock dart reveals him.
Out of charges.
That's just a little bit of time. In goes the peek, but no, he's away. And not only that, but his opponent is revealed. In goes Rawkus. He evades the shock dart. He barely has enough time to actually make his way onto this spike. He's clearing his corners, but MkaeL's gonna get it. You see the word on your screen, folks. It's a thrifty round. It's an eco round for Gen.G. They keep themselves alive in this half.
So close to Rawkus as well. He's had so many 1v2 clutches. Had one in Haven and had one last night against Beast Coast. If anyone was going to do it, it had to be him. He had that information. I thought for sure he was going to spray through the control house, but no. Finds his time and tries to play it a little bit more smartly, but doesn't clear that 1 corner. MkaeL gets the better of him in FaZe. I think no matter what, though, this half has been definitely treated them well, but they're hoping to get a little bit more. Their map on Haven, their match on Haven, ended in a 9-3 first half scoreline for FaZe, and they're hoping to replicate that success here. They need to get a big cushion here on Ascent, because Gen.G, they've got the best win percentage on a map like Ascent on their defensive side. Split as well, but Ascent is definitely where they seem to shine defensively. So FaZe, build that cushion up, do what you can to put as much distance between Gen.G and the final 13 scoreline. That's the goal here in FaZe. 2 rounds left to go, 2 rounds to do the best you can, and Gen.G are starting to build up some momentum with this slow A push with a smoke in their face and only 2 players here waiting.
Time is slowly ticking. And again, Gen.G, they're going to opt not to split by any means, but pull all their efforts into A main. Most of their A takes have not been successful, however. The ZachaREEE Corey combo has been deadly, and wait until Marved actually comes on by. He is a little bit on a flank at the moment, and it might just work out in his favor if he doesn't get caught. MkaeL does actually find it, but Marv gets the kill. It's almost like the reaction was a little bit slow, but slowly they're running out of time. They're running out of so much time. 20 seconds left. They finally make their take, but ZachaREEE is just holding things down. Player one, the last one remaining in a 1v4. That was a very disjointed take from Gen.G.
Yeah.
They ended up going out one by one. I mean, I like the util setup, but that was almost uncharacteristic.
Yeah, and it's a style that a lot of teams try to pull on FaZe. We'll try and run it up dry. They really didn't throw any utility to the way of FaZe on that A site. It looked so bleak and so dry from Gen.G. They're just walking. They're taking so much time out of their day to try and get that control. They're going in basically blind. They've got no information, and Marved, he's probably common as the IGL. Guys, just wait. Everybody get ready to swing when I make contact, and that's what they do. BABYBAY swings, ZachaREEE swings. Everybody's ready to take those fights as long as Marved has that intel. And Gen.G backs against the wall. BABYBAY tries to get extremely aggressive, and they've actually won a little bit of map control. Corey's got this part of the map controlled so far, but he has to back away with overwhelming numbers starting to swarm him, and even bullets starting to come his way. Gen.G, they have that opening pick, but what more can they find? Corey, that is so risky to hold the flash out. Thankfully, ZachaREEE picks up the kill, and same thing with Marv to even things out to a 3v3. But FaZe maybe getting a little bit reckless and a little bit too complacent as the last round of the half creeps upon us.
Shadows traveling.
Getting closer and closer, but we could have that first nail in the coffin if Rawkus can actually clutch out this round. A couple of frags over towards main would be very efficient, and at least trying to hold off on time for his teammates to rotate, but it's simply not going to happen. It's going to be a cat main split between ZachaREEE and Marved off this retake. And oh, ZachaREEE, there you go. That's going to be rough. The lockdown is in. MkaeL think that he can be slick, and he actually does take down the lockdown. That's great. But what is he going to do next? huynh, last person remaining in a 1v2, has the back of sight, has only a little bit of util, has both updrafts and a dash. He has to do the dash to actually get these kills. One person going to emerge. That's ZachaREEE gonna go down. Great spray down from huynh. Oh my god, English. One more person remaining. Marved, he's gonna go down. 1v2 for huynh. 8-4 scoreline. I mean, Gen.G actually making their way back a little bit at the very end of the half. But FaZe, they still look confident.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a little bit more decisive of an ending there from huynh, finally putting the nail in the coffin, finding the big clutch that he needs to get himself back in this game. Haven wasn't too pretty statistically for him. I think he only had 11 frags, whereas GMD had something like 21. So statistically, huyhn's doing much, much better here against FaZe on Ascent. But again, we talked about it. FaZe, this is the worser side for them. It's the worser side for a lot of teams on Ascent. Gen.G, statistically, their best defensive map is going to be Ascent from the ones that they play so often. And FaZe, on the other hand, a 46.8% win rate on the defensive side, or apologies, on the attacking side from every round they play. So this is not looking too favorable for FaZe, but with the lead that they've got, the confidence that they've built, so many factors, I think, give it back to the side of FaZe.
I mean, you got to compare that to Gen.G. Ascent isn't exactly a bad map for them by any means. I mean, yes, it might be quote-unquote their worst map, but they still have a winning record on it. Same thing with every other map. Gen.G can certainly come alive on the defensive side, however, and that's just how Ascent is. It's a little bit more defensive-sided, but FaZe, I feel as if they've taken as much advantage as they could out of that half. Time to chill out a little bit, Sully. I was even messing up my words a little bit, that last clutch. Let's chill, though, because there's not much for us to actually go through in this round. That's a 2-on-4, right? It can't be that crazy, dog.
Yeah, and when you look on the map, you see a green triangle and then 4 blue lights kind of looking in every single direction. So I'd agree, there isn't much to talk about on this one. Maybe, just maybe, FaZe can pick up a couple of frags. But yeah, with everybody watching their line of sight, with everybody ready to switch back to catwalk, it gets a little bit dicey. Even with the cam already with that initial tag, Corey's in a very tricky predicament. Doesn't even have time to pull the tracking dart off of him just yet. He has to work with his teammate. Time is ticking. FaZe are ticking down, and yeah, the players are starting to fall. 1v4 here for Corey, and nothing is going to happen. Player 1 finds himself a hat trick, and Gen.G, they pick up the pistol to make it 5-8.
5-8 scoreline, they're going to be able to extend off of this round alone. FaZe, they can't buy by any means, and I would be very surprised if any player on this team even bought util, bought a singular pistol. I mean, they weren't able to get frags in that last round. I mean, they just weren't able to get to spike down, nothing of the sort, so no bonus. So at this point, it's really going to have to come down to really FaZe trying to put on a little bit of economic damage. Again, I love that word, economic damage, onto Gen.G. And I mean, it's really just gonna come down to what would be maybe these pistols overwhelming this B site. But Shawn, he has the lineup. This is about to be easy. But ZachaREEE actually takes one back alongside Corey. It did kind of work. 2 guns are going to be taken away from the Gen.G side, so they have to reinvest. But it's a little bit. It's almost minuscule for now. It is large. But FaZe, they will be able to buy back the rifles in this round, Sully.
Yeah, this is maybe where the tides finally turn on this attacking half for FaZe. We mentioned it was going to be very difficult against a strong Gen.G defensively. So we'll see if FaZe can pick up the pace now that they've got an opportunity. Now they've got their rifles in their hands. But unfortunately, if they lose this round, it's the red carpet here for Gen.G to tie things up. No credits left over. A sum total of 100 between the 5. And it's a bonus round here for Gen.G, essentially. Shawn getting aggressive, the frenzy with GMD, something we see from BABYBAY on the FaZe side quite often. Seems it's been adapted here for Gen.G. And look at this aggressiveness, they're shutting them down. But same thing here for FaZe. Quick 4-piece in the B site, cracked open with player 1. Trying to scavenge his traps and maybe salvage something out of this round.
Player 1 is more than disconnected, and he has an Omen in his hands. Yeah, I can't exactly do much. Might be able to save up one of the dropped rifles from the FaZe clan side, especially outside of B main. But again, what a good take. And I mean, it just came down to Gen.G being a lot more aggressive. Hard take over towards B main. Hard take in mid. That ended up being their kryptonite. And again, FaZe, we have been kind of praising them for kind of switching up their play style. Really being a little bit better of a mix between more conservative and more aggressive play styles. But I think Gen.G, this far in this defensive side, they've just been hard fragging, hard bugging. And that's really the whole goal for this squad. FaZe, now they aren't going to look dejected by any means. Their first round and a half, it's more than successful. It's 9-6. Gen.G, they have to hard reinvest, but they have the money for it. This is where really the real show starts for Gen.G.
Oh yeah, especially with MkaeL on the Omen, and we know what he's capable of. A lot better with it than I think Rawkus has been all series long. He's only had 1 kill off of that single Omen, which is a little bit unfortunate to say as a Sova on Ascent. But FaZe, they pick the round back up, but this is like you mentioned, where the true test starts, where maybe the gears start to turn in Gen.G's head, and they find themselves a quick succession of rounds, and FaZe, a big one lays ahead of them. They know how important this round is financially for themselves, and the opportunity to reset Gen.G as well economically. There's so much on the line in this big swing round, and that recon bolts revealed the position up too. So a great indicator for Gen.G as to where this hit may come, and FaZe are not deterred by said information giving up to their opponents of Gen.G.
Ooh. Thankfully, FaZe did not approach up that quickly, though, because MkaeL does end up getting quite a bit of damage onto at least a couple of players over towards main. BABYBAY down to 80. Shawn, again, nobody checks logs. Shawn's going to be able to at least take down 1. More players are starting to make their way by. BABYBAY does clear up sight. A little bit slow from Shawn, but he was flashed out. There goes FaZe. They're going to be able to at least take back this B site. It's a 3-on-2. Gen.G again. Their util has already run a little bit dry for them to even attempt this retake. FaZe looking at their post plants. It's more than efficient. ZachaREEE watching the cross. Just 2 people watching over towards sites. Rawkus does not need to peek here. He just doesn't.
No, not at all.
He can just stick around site, really just chill out.
Yeah.
And the call's already been made, by the way. Wynn's out of there.
Yeah, Wynn's like, dude, let's just save these guns. Big win here for FaZe, I think, to say the very least. And Gen.G, they'll be hoping to bounce back. It was their first real test with that buy, but you give FaZe double digits, and now this looks really scary. This in particular looks a little bit scary. I don't even think he made a tag, unfortunately, but Gen.G, they walk away with that operator, they walk away with a Vandal. They won't be too disappointed with that at all. They obviously lost the round, but they do still have cash to buy back, to battle back against FaZe, but FaZe will be very pleased. They knew what that round held, like I mentioned before the round even started. Economically reset Gen.G while they hold on to that operator and Vandal. The rest of the buys, if they want to go for it, it's going to be really scrappy.
That goes there.
It's going to be real scrappy. And again, Gen.G, they've been in this position multiple times already. I mean, just imagine, right? A world where Gen.G doesn't qualify for first strike.
It would be kind of insane. I feel like it would be even weirder for FaZe to be in it. Like, FaZe was a team that I think from the get-go, not a lot of people expected to do too well, and they've shown they've shown other teams as well just how good they can be. Ever since Marved has picked up that IGL, calling the style that he's brought, the assertiveness that he's bringing to the table has been very, very clean. And Corey on 1 HP. It's a little bit sloppy here for FaZe and Gen.G. Maybe this is where they bounce back. A 7th round possibly.
Spike do be down though. Corey, how do you even go down to 1 HP?
God.
I mean, that was pretty much a Hail Mary for both Gen.G and FaZe for whatever reason. FaZe could have taken this round so slowly, but instead they opted to just kind of throw caution to the wind and just fully take out this site. Oh gosh.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We said that this round would be scrappy, but apparently it wasn't.
It was
for Gen.G.
It was scrappy, but not in the way we expected, right? Oh, not good for FaZe. Not good for FaZe at all. Gen.G, so many guns will be upgraded as well. huynh holding on to the operator. Everybody doubling down on that investment and picking up Vandals off of the dead bodies of FaZe, who now themselves have financial turmoil. BABYBAY, he can't even buy an operator at this point, and it's been so good for FaZe when he's got it. Gen.G knocking on the door, right on their doorstep. FaZe, you have to tread lightly here. I said it in the first map, and we saw it against Beast Coast. It was kind of that confidence turning into cockiness, and they got way too complacent with how they were playing, and it seems like that's what's happening here. You get way too aggressive, you go way too fast into a site without really any information being in your hands. I mean, it was a 4-player stack for Gen.G, and you definitely don't even walk into that. So FaZe, hold on to that confidence. That is a beautiful paranoia, but nothing is turned from it. Lots of damage, but no frags, and Gen.G send FaZe the other way as they continue to pack their luggage and they leave the A-bomb site.
Take on a little bit of damage, but they didn't at least overinvest in terms of util over towards that take. So it's not exactly that disastrous. Kind of testing out the water. That early interaction is going to take them away. 2 players over towards B. At the moment, not a singular person in mid, but there is a cam at least watching over towards market. They could at least snag out Rawkus. Again, these 2 players for FaZe that are so lit at the moment. They're just going to have to go for this first initial interaction. This first contact on site. And not only that, but player 1 has a good setup. He has the 2 Ks in front of him, essentially evading everything. Oh my god, that Rolling Thunder didn't do anything. It did nothing.
30 seconds left.
3v5 now, Sully. I mean, FaZe are just up against the ropes.
I thought 100% that would have been the killer. That would have been the blow that takes them down. But no, FaZe, they're fine. Or not FaZe, Gen.G are completely fine. MkaeL avoids it completely. And with 13 seconds left, ZachaREEE's got to go huge. He's got to get this second frag. And they're back in this round just like that. This one isn't over just yet. Corey has to go fast. He's got to go furious. The bomb, the spike, it's down on the ground, but no kills to be found. GMD wins it. The bell saves them, and he won't even get the final kill. Rawkus knocks him down. Gen.G find themselves on 8, but there are so many implications that single round has. The new economic system, FaZe, that single player loses that 1,000 credits from that loss bonus. And the guns lost as well for Gen.G. Both of these teams are going to be struggling here for cash. FaZe more so than ever, but Gen.G as well will be feeling the heat.
So even in a round where FaZe was at a striking disadvantage, they were still able to make some sort of gold out of it. This next round's not exactly a force going down to the half buy once again. Rawkus does have at least a Vandal from the last round. Stick around with the sheriffs and can still make a lot of noise. Gen.G, their economy is still a little bit fragile. So whatever they can end up pulling off in terms of fragging this round would be more than important. Lockdown's about to go down once again. The Hunter's Fury has been used 3 or 4 times in this set alone just to take down a lockdown. And wow, Marv's not able to get the trade, but he will be able to get the spike down. So that's a little bit extra cash for this team. Not only that, but Rawkus, a little bit of counter util, a counter ulti. Back over towards Heaven, takes down 1. Marv now has a little bit of an angle towards Heaven. I think the angle of that smoke might reveal where he is. I think a spray down might come in soon. Marv gets a little bit antsy. He goes right for the frag, but it's still not going to work out in his favor. 4v1, ZachaREEE, the last person remaining, has nothing but a sheriff, and he goes down to MkaeL. 10-9 scoreline, Sully.
what a story it's been for Gen.G to bring this all the way back. Down 8-4 at the half. They bring it 8-6 and 9-6. Gen.G. 1 round to go to tie things up in FaZe. 3 rounds to find to close out this series. And we said Ascent was going to be hard. We even said from the get-go that the last 3 losses that they had on Ascent against teams like Gen.G have all been 10-13. So again, the issue remains. Do FaZe once more fall into that same mantra of struggling to close out this map when they need it most? They've gotten so far. They've got 2 rounds under their belts in this second half. Can they find that final 3 to close it out? It doesn't seem like it. Gen.G really putting an end to any nuances that FaZe are trying to throw their way. And Gen.G, they look good, they look confident. FaZe need to find their form once more, get aggressive, find opening picks, and really test the side of Gen.G in early opening fights. And unfortunately, Marved has failed said test, with huynh passing it with flying colors.
This is yet another little test for FaZe. Again, they test out the waters on A after their teammate goes down in mid.
Right here.
It's almost weird to the extent that we haven't seen this team specifically actually go for any defaults. Nothing wide in a sense, always keeping things centralized towards at least 1 or 2 choke points on this map, which is fine in a sense, but all I'm saying is that FaZe has already switched up most of their actual approaches on the attacking side. They've actually loved to go on defaults. They've loved to just go for pure picks. But this team now, going a little bit more strategical in a sense, a little bit more tactical, sticking together. And at least moving forward into this round, it's going to be a little bit of a beat take. There's one person looking to make a little bit of noise on Cat, it seems. But it's a 3-man lockdown of B. This might get rough.
Rawkus is trying to cause something, really trying to get these rotators, and yeah, even if he was able to find those rotating players, it wouldn't be able to do much, and he even himself can't get anything. Gen.G, they lock it down on the B side, they lock it down on the A side furthermore, and it is flawless. Gen.G, 10-10, they tie it up, and in such a dominant fashion as well. You have to draw the concerns here for FaZe now. Stingers to play with and not much else. The cash, the credits are starting to run exceptionally low here. And Gen.G, I feel like they're poised to take this to 12, right? This looks like an 11th here, unless, again, FaZe can find it in them. And I think with 5 Spectres, the odds of that happening are extremely, extremely low.
That goes there. Revealing area.
Once again, FaZe approaching up the B side, but this time it's a little bit more direct. They make their way in immediately off the round beginning, and once again, it's going to be a 3-man hold of B for Gen.G. That to me is very interesting. Not many teams even go for that, but well, good combination. Flashes. They're going to overwhelm the person in Boathouse, and wow, this is actually working for FaZe.
What?
Marved gets the kill onto MkaeL on site. ZachaREEE with another a little bit earlier, and now it's a 2-on-3. Player 1 alongside huynh trying to clear out this site. FaZe already knows they do not need to peek out the stairs area by any means. huynh is about to pick at least the first pixel that he sees from this spot. Yes, they want control of sight, but they don't even need to go for the pick. huynh still making his way up, and there you go. He's smoked up. Oh no, this is where huynh can make some real noise. He has the knife sully.
Oh my god! A shot through the wall, dashing on over. huynh trying to pull the Alamo. He won't get it done, but player 1 sure as hell will. What a round from huynh. Last second, he pulls it off. Shot through the wall. What in the world? 11-10, Gen.G flip the switch, and FaZe are now down in terms of rounds.
This guy's cracked! As if we didn't know that before.
This is a nice spot.
This
You've
game
seen the
is
picture. You've seen how jacked this man is. He's as cracked as he is jacked.
Absolutely, I see it. Yes, sir. Jeez, huynh, as cracked as he is jacked, because good lord, he again, he has not had the best of days, but this game is his now.
Oh my god,
this is his yard, and here it goes, the big dog.
Oh
my,
we have to get a fight. I feel like
he's
we're
just
destined.
going up. He's just going for it. huynh, don't do it to him. Already gets one. There's a couple more players to aim at, and it's just a firing range for him. 11-10. currently for Gen.G, but it's already equalized at a 4v4. Good stuff from Corey, chasing out the kill against huynh. And now things could get dicey, Sully. There's only one player on that A site locking things down. There's a whole lot of util, but a whole lot of frags need to be had.
Yeah, only one guy here, but it's player one. And how good has he been with these traps? Look at that. A double Cypher trap, or a double Cypher cage set up in the middle of a site to delay, hold them back as long as possible, obscure their vision. So FaZe are the ones that have to walk into him to try and flush him out. And I think player one's going to be very keen to keep that from happening. Rolling Thunder, it won't clear him out, actually. Yup, there goes the Cypher cage. Tripwire is activated. There's so much going on, and BABYBAY looking maybe just a little bit lost. A 4v4. As for now, player one's still alive, and that's the key thing about that Cypher cage. He keeps himself on the site. He's just holding, waiting for the rest of his team to arrive. They can't flush this man out, and you will not take player one down. You will not win this round, he says. Player one has taken 3, and all Gen.G need is one more round to send us to a third of split.
You really expect that to work?
Chills. There you go. Good stuff, Gen.G. Now you got to think.
Match point.
Finally, their players are starting to come alive. FaZe Clan, they can't exactly put on the best of fights in this round alone, purely just from their economy. Lots of sacrifices have to be made. Either you're talking about util and light armor, or just whatever rifle you can gather in the full armor setup. Comes down to this for FaZe, and they need a pause. Might be tech, might be tack, whatever it may be. We do need a little bit of a break to kind of recover from what happened. Sully, wow. I mean, Gen.G before, they weren't exactly pulling off any insane individual plays or something of the sort. And then 2 rounds in a row, we just get huynh and player one stepping up to the plates. I think that's really what we've been expecting from Gen.G this entire time, but we've just been missing that flair. We've just been missing that one trigger in a sense.
Yeah, now we've finally got a tactical timeout, our second of the series. Marved really just needs a moment, I think, to clear his head and figure out what can we do. Gen.G look insane on the defense. So much firepower in the hands of huynh with that operator. We just saw player one, and everybody, it feels like, on Gen.G trying to support one another, setting each other up for the frags. And FaZe, they're stumped. It's so hard to play around this, and if huynh is able to find another opening, more problems. They're gonna have more problems here, FaZe, for that next series in huynh. He's got another one already. Oh my god, huynh. First opening shot lands, and FaZe are sent reeling back in another 4v5 to try and recover.
Another man advantage, another day in the office. FaZe can bring this back, but it's still very much a tall task. huynh, oh, he's watching the angle. That's already lost. Can't peek that by any means, and this A site is already heavily populated. Or at least the extremities of it, heavily populated by Gen.G. They're not going to approach A just yet, but they have more than enough util to really just barrel their way through. They're really waiting for what would be a solid sign that someone on A is actually here. That gate going down is a good indication. Spike finally going down. Sully. FaZe need to win this one to survive, but what's going on? I think they're saucing up. Well, what would be the ulti? ZachaREEE now has the lockdown. And here we go. 4 on 5.
Oh, that Killjoy, it's going to buy them so much time. And the thing is, Gen.G, they don't have that Hunter's Fury to fall back upon it, taking their time, trying to see if they catch anybody aggressing. All 5 of Gen.G grouped up, sheep in a herd, and BABYBAY is the farmer. What can he get from this, though? They're coming all around the corner, and it's hunting season here, ladies and gents. BABYBAY, he doesn't get anything. The wolf is taking him down, and the sheep stay alive. They continue to move into the site, but ZachaREEE is what awaits them. So much chaos erupting, and Corey beneath the heavens is still holding on. 1v2, and Shawn is not going to pull this one out. One more round, ladies and gentlemen. Map 2 has been a barn burner, and we're here just to enjoy the ride.
Here we go again. One more round for FaZe. They win it out on the A site this time. Again, really a site that really neither one of these teams have had a lot of success on in terms of hard takes. But in that round, it works. Stellar hold, stellar aggressiveness in a sense from a couple of the players. But now Gen.G, it doesn't seem like they're going to be very keen on getting caught off like that. That last round, they were really aiming for a wide retake.
Here.
But even then, putting bodies on site wasn't exactly really the X factor to their success. Rawkus has to aim down on this last player, but BABYBAY clears up sights, clears up huynh. Now it's already a 4-on-4 trade-off at the very end. ZachaREEE gets the gate down. Spike will most likely go down. Shawn takes down Marved. That's absolutely massive. He was looking for yet another flank on site. But again, Gen.G, they have the man advantage going into a retake. And they're trying to prevent overtime.
Oh, and those doors wide on open as well, Gus. This is so difficult. 3 players in the heavens. BABYBAY, he's gotten aggressive and taking down the extremity. Shawn goes down. They do still have the neural threat, but I don't even think they need that at this point. MkaeL storming into the site, charging in with the big heavy gun. The Omen. Rawkus 1v2 has to win this out, but player 1 shuts him down. We will be seeing a third map, ladies and gents. 13-11. All 24 rounds needed to decide the victor on map 2 in FaZe. They can't close it out, but Gen.G sure as hell will.
Done and over. Ascent, we expected a good map from Gen.G. We expected them to kind of shine in terms of the hard 1v1s, but what we didn't expect was FaZe to actually have a prowess on this map. This is their worst map, period. This is their worst map out of their entire map pool, but even then, they came out swinging, and they made this look possible against Gen.G. ZachaREEE at the very top, a player that actually had a little bit of a slow start.